Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about economics. And I'm emphasizing economics here, and crypto, and lots of other fun things. Before we dive on in, do me a favor, hit the like button, leave a comment in the comment section for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Now, okay, I was pondering, do I publish this on Saturday or do I publish it on Monday? I like starting out the week with a video ready to go at 6 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. I'm going to publish this on Saturday. And so I'm making this on Friday. You're going to watch this on Saturday, most of you at least. Unless you're a member of this channel, click to join. And I just wanted to hash out some thoughts because I know a lot of you really want my mindset right now. And my mindset isn't hopeless. I want you to hear that. My mindset's not hopeless, but there's just I'm processing some things. I was dreading that unemployment report, and I was dreading the reaction. I was not surprised at all that we had a fake out to the upside. Oh, we're gonna cut rates. That's super bullish. Is it bullish? Is it bullish? Sometimes when we cut rates, it's bullish. Like when we cut rates the way we did during COVID, that's bullish. You cut it down to zero. I'd be a mega bull. I'd be a moon boy for like a year and a half before we pay the consequences of those sins. But is it bullish when we cut into weakness? That's the thing that I think a lot of people need to understand about rate cuts is if we're cutting into strength, which we rarely do, and last year was kind of an exception. Last September 18th of last year, we were cutting into strength. We were cutting. There was enough of a facade that everything was okay when we were cutting into strength. But when we cut into weakness, what always happens in the entire recorded history of rate cuts and rate hikes is a recession within 6 to 12 months after those first rate cuts. And that's what I missed last year because I remember a lot of you, I'm sure a lot of you remember, that's what I called for was a recession after those first rate cuts. The thing that I missed was that we were cutting into strength, okay? We were cutting into strength. Right now, though, we're cutting into weakness. And so everything that I was thinking last year, September 18th, now this year it's September 17th, everything that I was thinking about last year applies to this year. So that's what I want you to think back, okay? Think back to last year. What was I thinking at this time last year? Now, okay, I just looked for an article. I didn't even read this article title, especially from Business Insider. That's like a clickbait website. But edge of the cliff, a top economist says U.S. is in a full-blown labor recession that risks spilling into the rest of the economy. That jobs report was not good. It was something that I was worried about, and it wasn't good. Last month's job report was not good, and it gets worse. So we added, what was this? So all of our gains of jobs was part-time. We added 597,000. I think it was 597,000. Yeah, added 597,000 part-time jobs. Had a net loss of 357,000 full-time jobs. So it's all part-time. This is not good. It's not we're going to fall off a cliff immediately bad, but it's not good. All right. And so what was my mindset last year for those of you who weren't on this channel? Oh my goodness. Okay. I am in the wrong time period here. 2007. Let's get back to 2007 here. Do you see this peak right here? The Dow Jones. I mean, Bitcoin didn't exist at that time. At the time, the Dow Jones peaked at 14,000 and change, and that was the all-time high. That was October 8th of 2007. 2 months prior to that, after a hiking and then flat, we had a rate cut. And what was that rate cut? That was a rate cut into weakness. All right. So 2 months prior, we rallied for 2 months. That's all we got was 2 months. And then great financial crisis. Dow Jones lost more than 50%, more like 60%. Took a year and a half to bottom out. Now, would it take a year and a half this time around? No. Because we didn't know, they introduced QE, during the Lehman collapse and everything. We didn't know what QE was. If we had known, that would have been the bottom, 8,000 or so in the Dow Jones would have been the bottom. But we didn't know what QE was, so we had a final flush out and bottomed out on March 9th, 2009. So it was about a 40% drop in the Dow Jones. If Bitcoin existed at that time, it would have dropped a lot more. much more than 40%. I mean, it would have been over 90%, I think. So I'm not calling for Bitcoin to drop 90%. So here we are, CME FedWatch tool. We have, according to this, an 88.1% chance that we're going to cut 25 basis points and an 11.9% chance that we're going to cut 50 basis points. We are cutting in September in less than 2 weeks. What's going to happen after that? I tend to think that we'll have a short-lived rally, especially if there's a 50 basis point rate cut. That will have about 2 months, maybe 2 to 3 months of the market rallying. And then I made this tweet yesterday from when you're watching this. Another weak jobs report increases the odds of a rate cut this month, but also increases the odds of a recession. I am most likely going to be entirely out of my spot crypto holdings within the next 3 months, except for Bitcoin. Now, of course, I'll hold some but within the next 3 months, except for Bitcoin, it's probably going to be more like November. But we'll see, because people will ask me refining questions about that. And okay, we rally. Let's say we rally. There's always the possibility of an irrational finishing pump to the market. So let's say we rally. Let's say we have alt season. Let's say we have a blow off top over a period of the Q4 of 2025. I am bullish for Q4, especially for October into November. Let's say we have all of that. I'm not looking to time the top, which is, I'm not saying exactly 2 months I will be out. I'm not looking to time the top. What I look for is an opportunity to exit. I try to aim within a week or 10 days of the top. Nobody's going to time the top. I'll be bullish on the day of the peak. Remember that. I was bullish on the day of the peak in December of 2024. I made a very bullish tweet that I really regret, but there's no signs at the peak. There's signs after the peak that we have peaked. And maybe with Bitcoin, we've peaked for 2025. I think we're going to be much higher for Bitcoin in 2027 than we are now, maybe 2026. So maybe this was the peak already, but for altcoins, given where Bitcoin dominance is heading, I don't believe that. Bitcoin dominance is in a bear market. So there's a lot of potential with altcoins. There's a lot of potential with Ethereum, a lot of potential. So, I'm not touching Bitcoin right now. Oh, but there will be a time for sure when I'm touching Bitcoin. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin's price, I highlighted this tug of war going on, and today's price action is obviously very discouraging, but, at least when I'm making this video, but I'm not surprised at all. So we had this tug of war going on between the 100-day EMA and the 20-day EMA. Support at the 100-day, resistance at the 20-day. When we had that unemployment report, we're going to cut rates, super bullish. Let's go. We're going to the moon. What happened? We just shot up to the 50-day EMA. That's it. I've talked about, guys, all this resistance. And it's going to take us through the month of September to work itself out. I would just throw this month away. I think we're going to close green this month. But I would not have high expectations for the rest of the month, even, the days after the rate cut. But October, fourth quarter, November, yeah. So, okay, we got rejected the 50-day EMA. Now we're below, at the moment I'm making this, we're below the 100-day EMA. That might be a wick. We might hold this, but that is not a bullish candle. That kind of selling pressure off of a wick. And so heading into the weekend, you're watching this on the weekend, who knows? CME futures gap, even though we do have that gap at 116 to 117, I'm not expecting much over the weekend, but, I still have high hopes for Ethereum. Just putting in a higher floor. I didn't even notice this. I was live when this happened. Ethereum got down much lower than I thought it would. 4,100, on the day at least, 4,100. But Ethereum should break into an all-time high. Even on a move to 116 on Bitcoin, Ethereum could break into an all-time high, get into price discovery, roll over into altcoins. We can get some magic with altcoins. As of right now, my mindset is that it's going to be somewhat similar to 2024. Remember 2024. All right, so here's where you just prepare your mind, okay? If it's not over, I don't think it's over. We have one more rally. We get into price discovery. A couple things look encouraging. The Russell 2000 looks encouraging. Small cap stocks are strong. Why not small cap cryptos? Smaller than the large caps at least. So we get into price discovery, but you've got to prepare yourself now. And even, I'm not promising that I'm even going to be a good friend to you at that time, because I'm going to want to push it, and you're going to want to push it. You're gonna, if we get that rally, you're going to be in profit, and you're going to think, oh man, I'm up this much, but I could be up this much. And then all the moon boys are going to say, this is just the beginning. This is the beginning of the golden bull run, the bull run to end all bull runs. And I'm saying more like 6 to 8 weeks is all we're going to get. Whenever that starts, that's all we're going to get. And you know, if it's 2 months after that first rate cut in November, who's going to be a bear in November? Let's say we rally in October, we rally in November, but then we stall in November. Who's going to be a bear in November? You know who's not going to be a bear? The moon boys. The moon boys are going to be shoving bullishness down your throat. And I'm going to be sitting here at some point telling you, you've got to exit. And there may not be 1,000 people in my live stream on TikTok, for those of you who know that measure. There may not be, Coinbase is the number one app. I wouldn't be surprised if Coinbase became one of the top 10 apps. But man, I'm preparing myself now for the gaslighting that I'm going to receive when I turn bearish. Because it happened to me in 2021. People, man, they do not want to hear it. Or it's not 2021, 2024. I said I sold 40% of my crypto in December of 2024. The amount of not only hate, but the amount of just like, the amount of people who looked down on me at that moment when I was 40% out and we had a terrible start to 2025. It wasn't, the thing that didn't surprise me was the hate. The thing that surprised me, that actually affected me, was the pity. Just like, why would you do something? Like, why would you sell? That's coming. I think it's coming. So a little bit of hope. Okay, how about some hope? Before we end this video. Bitcoin versus gold. You just got to remember, so gold is hot right now. I have no interest in buying gold right now. On the other side of recession, I am telling you, look at what happened after the great financial crisis to the price of gold and silver. Boom. But gold went down first. But I am going to be a moon boy on gold and silver and gold miners and silver miners. Not right now. And gold's rallying. What happens after gold rallies is a rotation into equities and a rotation into Bitcoin. I think that this move up to $3,600 for gold, you may think that, oh yeah, the path is clear. We're going to do a similar move to what we did. You know, we broke out of 2,800, rallied to 3,500. So maybe we rally from 35 to 42. I'm willing to bet anything that this is very close to the peak for gold, that this is like a final short squeeze. And then what's going to happen with gold? And this isn't a 100% original thought, but I was on the same thought process as the blockchain backer. He said something about this in his video. Would be something, you know, I don't know, move down to 3,000 or something like that. And in the meantime, stocks and crypto have that big rally that I was talking about, and then it's over. So, all right, gold is rallying now. Rotation into stocks, rotation into equities, into Bitcoin. Money flows into Bitcoin. That's typically what happens when we see gold. After we see gold have its run. Okay. So the other thing I would point out is, look at this fractal compared to 2017. So in September of 2017, we remember 2017 as this year that it was up only. It was just rainbows and butterflies. There was not a worry in the world. But I am telling you, in 2017, especially this circle right here, this was in July, that was in July. I'm pretty sure that was in July of 2017. It looks like it was June, but no, yeah, that was in July of 2017. A lot of people were saying it was over at that time. And then what happened? I mean, that was like $3,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, that was exactly $3,000, right around there. It's over. Pack your bags. See you in 2021. $3,000. 5,000 was the peak. It got up to 5,000, went down to 3,000. That's it. I mean, and if you look at this chart, I mean, that's an ugly chart. That's oogly. All right. Ugly chart. But what happened? We bounced back. We bounced back, had a good July, August, September, and then boom. It's over. Pack your bags. See you in 2028. $7,000 Bitcoin. Man, that's amazing. It was $100 in the bear market. That's a 70x. You seriously think we're going to go more than a 70x? And what happened? Then, we remember 2017 fondly, but like really, it was just the last 3 or 4 months of 2017 that provided just the insanity of 2017. So could this happen in 2025? It could. And I'm not confident that we're going to see. I mean, I did speculate maybe 124 was the all-time high. I don't think, or the 2025 peak. I don't think so. But I mean, we're not going to $210,000, but 150,000, 155. That's within the realm of possibility, and that can be a very exciting 2 to 3 months. That could happen. I mean, do you remember this time in 2024 last year? Bitcoin went down to $52,000 in the first week of September in 2024 after the unemployment report. And what happened? It more than doubled from there within 3 months. Okay. So I'm not saying that Bitcoin's more than doubling from here. But what I'm saying is September sucks. I'm not surprised that September sucks, that there's this feeling from people, oh no, it's over. And then we finish out the year, Bitcoin rallies, altcoins rally, they outperform Bitcoin, and then it's over. It's over for altcoins. It's not over for Bitcoin. Because again, the peak for this cycle is closer to the next halving than the previous one. But for altcoins, for Ethereum, anything that has an ETF coming or already has one, I'm hopeful. But anything else, goodbye. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin hit something like $300,000, $400,000 in 2027, and Bitcoin's dominance was like 85. Or Bitcoin, how about we add Bitcoin and ETH? That Bitcoin plus ETH dominance was like 90%. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So that's my game plan right now. I more than lean in the direction that we have some fireworks ahead of us, and then, man, protect your assets, protect your gains. All right. That's all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week, and I will most certainly be seeing you in another video. Peace.